Abarera Legos Ram Ori Banish C10 Demonio Dinaja 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 Abarera Legos.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Satan and Coffee, the Sunday Black Mass. And as always, let us begin. Hail Satan, hail Lilith, hail Lucifer, hail Paimon, hail Baphomet, hail thyself. We reject the Trinity. We reject the baptism of John. We reject the baptism of the Spirit. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see you on this Sunday morning, or afternoon, or evening, depending on where it is that you are in the world. But it is good to see everyone. I hope you're all well. I hope you guys can notice and are enjoying the new overlays here. I actually have to adjust this because I forgot to adjust the smoke to the new camera positioning. I gotta fix this real quick. Give me a quick second here. Just a quick second. Now watch, transition over. And now it's lined up. Excellent. Very good. Very, very good. So I do hope that everyone is having an excellent day. I hope you have your coffee. I know I do. So let us jump into it. So I think, honestly, we're going to be the first sentence of this chapter, Love and Hate, is probably one of the most famous statements in this book. One of. I'm not saying the most, but one of the most famous statements in the Satanic Bible. And as Satan represents kindness to those who deserve it instead of love wasted on ingrates. Now, there is a point here, and yes, we're going to dive into this one sentence and dissect it. So many people operate on the concept or idea of, yes, you can love everybody. You can love humanity. You can love everyone around you. And it is a statement that I, in general, wholeheartedly disagree with. I do not believe that we are capable of loving everyone. I believe that we are capable of having a certain level of human respect. But love is a word that, when used too much, loses its meaning, much like many other words and phrases and things like that. Here's the thing. As human beings, we are brought up in a society that forces us into this concept of appreciating everyone, caring about everyone, always looking at, as long as I have my coffee, exactly. Always like looking out for the betterment of the masses, right? And inside of a society that forces people into a corner to consistently and perpetually force themselves to care about people that they don't even know, we are forced into a situation where we lose the meaning of the word love. Right? That's what happens. And so the people that deserve your love in your life should receive the whole of your love through your life. Whether that be your parents, your siblings, your partner, your friends, right? And to each of these is a different scale and level of love. The one thing when we talk about these types of things, these types of situations, especially in religion and spirituality, no one ever mentions, like in society with mental health, of course, but in spirituality, this isn't always mentioned. What about loving yourself? So if you spread the love that you have available to you to every individual, every person on the planet, simply because they exist and have done absolutely nothing to earn or deserve that caring from you, forget about what's left for your family. What's left for you? Practically nothing. It is important. It is imperative. Beautiful than nothing could really be beautiful. Exactly. Hello. 4 ways to say hi. Hello, Bjorn. Black Wraith, welcome. And so, this being one of the most famous and popular statements in this book, it has been combated heavily. One second. It has been combated heavily in society. This statement And sorry for the interruption. Chat, that was my child bursting through the door without a care in the world. So, the statement of love those who deserve it instead of love wasted on ingrates is a statement that has been heavily combated in the spiritual sense, the religious sense, since it was written, since it was published. And it is constantly said that no, we are capable. We have to love humanity. We have to love the rest of the world. And we simply can't. We simply can't. We need to provide, one, first and foremost, to ourselves. This is something that I've said constantly. You have to be in a good place in order for you to be able to actually do anything for anyone else. Somebody asks you for money. If you don't have any for yourself, you can't give it to somebody else. Somebody asks you to listen and care and be a part of them. You can't provide that if you can't do that to yourself. You have to be okay on every level, physically, mentally, spiritually. Oh, hold on a second, chat. Sorry, my office door opened up. I can already tell that this is going to be an interesting morning. So, you have to be good on every single level in order to be able to provide. You can't give what you don't have, especially if you don't have it for yourself, because you have to come first. And if you don't allow yourself to come first, you're leaving nothing for you. So it's to give your last scraps of food. I completely agree with that. It is toxic positivity. Now, there is an aspect of that statement, right? I don't think it's everyone must be loved, but I think everyone deserves love to a certain degree, but not from you. That's the key thing right there. Right? Is people have taken this concept that the individual, I deserve love. Everyone in this chat deserves love. But do you deserve love from Joe Schmo that lives 1,500 miles away on the other side of the country that has no idea that you even exist? No, you don't. Why would you? Why would you deserve that? What God complex do you have, you as a general statement, do you have that you believe that you deserve the admiration of somebody that doesn't even know you are breathing right now? It's a level of impossibility. And there are people out there that expect it. Take advantage of that. Loving everyone is a good way to make yourself a doormat. Exactly. 100%. 100%. Trying to love everyone is lying on the ground and saying, step on me. Take advantage. Take what you want. Leave me with nothing. And I'm sure many of us have experienced that in our lives. Many of us have experienced that. We open ourselves up to a person or a group of people that we find interesting. that we want to speak with, and find ourselves very quickly in a situation where we're being taken advantage of. Let us continue to read, shall we? You cannot love everyone. It is ridiculous to think you can. If you love everyone and everything, you lose your natural powers of selection and wind up being a pretty poor judge of character and quality. I 100% agree with this statement. If anything is used too freely, it loses its true meaning. Again, completely agree with that. We just mentioned that. Therefore, the Satanist believes you should love strongly and completely those who deserve your love, but never turn the other cheek to your enemy. Now, this is another statement that is mentioned in the 9 Satanic Statements, and again here, and it is a statement that I wholeheartedly believe in. I believe that if someone wrongs you, you are to defend yourself. You are not to allow someone to walk all over you, which is one of the reasons why I very strongly advocate the idea of unifying the occult under a generalized occult banner. This does not mean, and I need to reiterate this because every time I mention unification, everybody thinks we're going to start believing the same things, and that's not what the occult is about. It's not about changing your beliefs, but unifying the occult under in a generalized occult banner is going to make us stronger. And the reason I talk about this is because we do have enemies as occultists in general, as a community. Now, unfortunately, the people that are those enemies very easily speak about us in a way that dehumanizes us. We are abused constantly for talking about our ideas. Not just pick a video of mine, especially this series, the Black Mass, right? Just pick a video, just pick one of the previous Sunday Black Masses and look at the amount of Christians that are telling me to get an exorcism, to find Jesus, to, all of these types of things. And just like we mentioned in Apocrypha on Friday, Christians are the only ones that do this. Now, it's not to say that other cultures or other people from other religious cultures don't, but they do not do it at the rate and the amount that the Christians and the Catholics do. Where we just want to be left alone. Now, how does this not turn the other cheek? Use your voice. Use your intelligence. Use your understanding, your situational awareness, your understanding of the circumstances to, for yourself, understand what it is that in any given situation or circumstance that you need to do to defend yourself. Sometimes it's just verbally. Sometimes it's a bad Yelp review. Wow, okay. Sometimes, and hopefully very rarely or never, that defense might need to become physical defense. Thank you, Bjorn. I appreciate that. And if we look through many cultures in history, openly defending yourself is definitely a part of it. The only time personal defense has ever been taken away from the individual is when the controlling party wants to control that party further. That's the only time that that's ever been removed. Look throughout history, look at the laws and, the different cultures that have existed. And I mean, go back, Norse paganism, right? All the way back to the Norse, the Northmen. I don't want to say Viking because it's kind of our word, not theirs. Go back to the Northmen. Go back to, early England, like before the establishment of it being actually England. And Celtic cultures. The Celts were a warrior culture. And the Celts believed in self-defense. The Celts believed that if you had to kill somebody in self-defense, it is what needed to be done. Now, the level that they went at it was a little bit different, because basically the way that they kind of went at it was whoever died was the party that was right, that was correct. I think that's taking it a little too far, but I mean, they took their spirituality very, very seriously. And when you went into personal combat in the heat of the moment to defend yourself, the idea is that whoever survived, the spirits were on their side. The spirits were aiding them. And that's why they survived. And therefore, there must be a level of correctness as to why they survived. Right? So the only time that personal defense is taken away from you is when the controlling party wants to control you further. That's the only time that it happens. Right? They want to make sure that you are oppressed. They want to make sure that you aren't able to stand up for yourself. And interestingly enough, the Christians fall into this idea ridiculously. The Christians, especially the right-wing Christians, in my personal opinion, and I have no problem per se with logical conservative thought, nor do I take issue with logical libertarian thought. It's when you start contradicting yourself and cherry picking who can do what because you like the person or you don't like the person, that's where things kind of become a problem. And to not turn the other cheek, it is extremely important as occultists, especially of the left-hand path, that we understand that we are responsible for our actions, and those that we defend against are responsible for their actions. And this is an important aspect to remember here, is your actions and the actions of others bear consequences. If the action of a person requires the equated response from you in your own defense, that is the consequence of their actions. This concept that people have come up with, especially the Buddhists, where it is this idea that let them do what they will and karma will take care of them. I'm sorry, but sometimes you are the hand of karma. It is that simple. We broke this down a few masses ago, this idea of karma and karmic law. And I broke down the example, the whole matrix example, the matrix philosophy example for you, because it made it easier to explain it. But the idea is karma is just a word. It is something that you create. You create your own karma. If you work hard, you do good, you make the right moves, your karma is something that you are creating, is an energy that you are creating around you by the movement that you are making, much like a stone hitting water. The ripples that go outward from your movements and your actions create what happens around you, and then allows you to move through those ripples as you see fit to get to where it is that you need to go. You create your own karmic order. It's the same thing as if you do bad things, if you are a bad person, if you do what I consider to be truly evil, murder, SA, all of these types of things, right? And I'm not going to go down the list. I'm sure you guys have a logical idea in your heads of what that is or what that could be, right? That list of things that are generally just despicable, right? Regardless of what other spiritual path that you reside on, there is just a certain set standard of bare minimum that is just, this is just apprehensible and unacceptable behavior. And when one partakes in said behavior, they create their own karma. Eventually, something somewhere down the line is going to happen to them because of the ripple that they are making, which is why we've always managed to catch serial killers and I don't want to say the word, but you know what I'm saying. These people create their own karma. They create the energy that bends around them. And they ride those bends just like anyone else does. But the karma that they are creating around themselves is going to get them into a situation where it is not going to be beneficial to them. Karma isn't something that keeps a checklist of all the things that you do and don't do, and whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, and then at some random point in your life decides to smack you across the face with it. Karma is simply understanding what you're putting out. And by what you're putting out, what it is that you're going to get back from that. That's what that karma is. And so, again, reverting back to not turning the other cheek, sometimes you are the hand of karma. Sometimes you are responsible for somebody reaping their karma. And logic is no different from ancient peoples, but how we have created so many political systems and ideologies now in our time has... Well, there's nothing wrong necessarily with political systems. It is when those political systems are unified with ideology, or any type of ideologue. It doesn't matter what direction you go. If you go left, right, middle, it doesn't matter. So the only way that politics actually truly functions is if politics is asocial. What that means is that politics does not integrate itself with the personal beliefs or ideals of the people, or their spiritual connections. Okay? That there is a set rule of law. If you break the law, there is a consequence, and those consequences, there's a list. The problem is that for as long as I can remember, there has always been some type of ideologue connected to political systems. Right? Now, when I was growing up, it was God and country and, Christianity and going to church and all. That's an ideologue that is not beneficial to anybody. Anytime you mix religion with politics, people die. I've said that a million times, and it will never not be true. Anytime you mix religion with politics, people die. Horrifically. And in great number. But religion isn't the only type of ideologue. And right now, where we stand politically, essentially, is the war of the ideologues. Right? Is the silent war of the ideologues. That's where we're sitting politically, essentially. And everyone's trying to fight everyone else's ideologue with their own ideologue, and they're all idiots. All of them. Left, right, center, doesn't matter. If you are using your personal opinion, concepts, and feelings to fight a logical political argument, you're an idiot. Of course, feelings take place and are part of how we do things. But one of the things that the left-hand path teaches us is the absolute necessity of objectivity. Right? Not everyone is going to get what they want. Not everyone is going to get what they feel that they need. Not everyone is going to be 100% happy with an outcome. Right? That's just a fact of life. Again, there are 8 billion people on this planet. Not everyone is going to be completely happy. It's one of the reasons why a lot of us have kind of drove to the occult in great mass from Christianity, is because it is the one thing that allows us to adjust what it is that we are doing so we're happy with it. Now, there's one thing that I believe that in the occult is completely looked over, and is something important for so many people to remember. Sometimes putting yourself in an uncomfortable position, forcing yourself to do something that you don't necessarily want to do in the moment, that isn't dangerous to yourself or others, is a point of expansion. It's a point of growth. It's a point of understanding, right? I think many people inside of the occult have taken this concept of being able to adjust things so much that they no longer put themselves into uncomfortable situations. And therefore, they stop growing in the occult. And that is a sad thing to see. Sometimes we need to be in a somewhat uncomfortable situation in order for us to grow further. Right? Let's continue. Love is one of the most intense emotions felt by man. Another is hate. Forcing yourself to feel indiscriminate love is very unnatural. If you try to love everyone, you will only lessen your feelings for those who deserve your love. Repressed hatred can lead to many physical and emotional ailments. This is 100% true. By learning to release your hatred towards those who deserve it, you cleanse yourself of these malignant emotions and need not take your pent-up hatred out on your loved ones. So this is another extremely important point here. We know that any pent-up emotion that we don't face, this is the point of shadow work, that we don't face, deal with, and assimilate, becomes a ticking time bomb inside of ourselves. And without being able to deal with it in a healthy manner, it ends up hurting people that don't deserve to be hurt. Now, taking your hatred out on those that deserve it, this doesn't mean doing anything harsh, rash, or outside of the legal spectrum. But, again, it does come back to, do not be afraid to express your dislike of someone's actions. Actions have consequences. And again, as we've talked about many times, consequences, the word consequence, unfortunately, inherently in society, has a negative connotation to it. Okay? And people, when they hear the term consequence, they think of something negative. Consequence is what happens with anything you do. Any action you take breeds consequence. What determines whether or not that consequence is a positive consequence or a negative consequence is whether or not you find the consequence beneficial or unbeneficial to yourself. So this is the big point that we look at when we talk about consequence, and when we talk about taking your hatred out on the people that deserve to feel the wrath of your hatred. Be intelligent. Remember, you are responsible for yourself. You are responsible for your actions. You are responsible for the consequences that you receive. So if they are beneficial or unbeneficial consequences, you are responsible for that. Release what it is that you need to release that's inside of yourself, not to suffer yourself with it. but do so in such a manner that guarantees your growth and your survival. So this is where kind of like these ideas become a bit complicated, because in the left-hand path, the concept and the idea of self-preservation is the most important aspect that you can teach yourself, is how to preserve yourself in your life. Part of preserving yourself in your life is understanding intelligently the decisions and actions that you make, the motivations behind your behaviors. By understanding the motivations behind your behaviors, you can better control the release through those behaviors and those actions, by in turn controlling the outcome. It is nothing quite simple as get angry and start screaming. What benefit is that going to get? If you want to scream, put your face into a pillow. When we come after our enemies, we come after our enemies with the intent of destroying them. Screaming and yelling at them is not going to destroy them. Killing them is only going to destroy ourselves. Because by breaking the law against an enemy, you in turn put yourself into a position where you force yourself outside of the prosperity of your own life. Destroy your enemies intelligently, and in such a way that guarantees that you don't need to hide. Unfortunately, there's a certain type of person that only understands consequence. These types do take empathy and pain of others seriously. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with empathy. Empathy, I think, is a key human emotion. It's a necessary human emotion. It's a necessary understanding. Emotions are another form of energy. Bottling them up makes a bomb. Using them can make them a tool or a weapon. Exactly. But like I said, it's extremely important to remember self-preservation first. Destroy your enemies intelligently. Find the hole that they created and let them fall into it. Don't push them. Just line them up with it. That's how this works. We're not out here trying to end people's lives. We're not out here trying to destroy people. That's not the point. The point is if you are confronted with a situation where somebody becomes your enemy, don't run away from it. Unless that is your best course of action. Again, situation and circumstance is extremely important. There has never been a great love movement in the history of the world that hasn't wound up killing countless numbers of people. We must assume to prove how much they loved them. Every hypocrite who ever walked the earth has had pockets bulging with love. Every farcical religionist claims to love his enemies, even though, when wronged, he consoles himself by thinking God will punish them, instead of admitting to themselves that they are capable of hating their foes and treating them in the manner they deserve. They say they're there, but for the grace of God I go, and pray for them. Why should we humiliate and lower ourselves by drawing such inaccurate comparisons? Satanism has been thought of as being synonymous with cruelty and brutality. This is so only because people are afraid to face the truth. And the truth is that human beings are not all benign or all loving. Just because the Satanists admit he is capable of both love and hate, he is considered hateful. On the contrary, because he is able to give vent to his hatred through ritualized expression. He is far more capable of love, the deepest kind of love, but honestly recognizing and admitting to both the hate and the love he feels. There is no confusing one emotion with the other. Without being able to experience one of these emotions, you cannot fully experience the other. And here we talk about balance. We discuss balance. We talk about the balance of everything. How I continually bring this up to you guys, especially when it comes to Baphomet. The dichotomy of the world is extremely important for us to move through. You cannot fully understand the full length of everything, light and dark, without the duality of it. How do you understand the difference between night and day, if it's only day or if it's only night? How do you understand the difference between beauty and ugly if everything's beautiful? How do you understand sweet if you don't understand sour? Sweet just isn't sweet without the sour. But it's not really destroying, but debating and talking with said practitioners. I have many more ex-Christians and Catholics to pre-Abrahamic friends. I mean, I think I don't care. This is my personal perspective here. I don't care what anyone believes in. If you want to discuss your beliefs with me and debate them against mine, of course. But this constant intent of conversion or fear-mongering, because that's all it is. That's all it is. Every single Christian in the world that has ever tried to save anyone's soul has done so by insulting them and telling them that they're going to suffer eternally. And if at the end of the day, I am completely wrong in everything I believe, and the Christians and the Catholics are 100% correct, I would prefer to go to hell. And here I will explain why. So if you really go forward with the translations, the accurate translations, nowhere in the Bible does it actually talk about a place of eternal fire, damnation, and suffering. The Catholics and the Christians, heaven is closeness to God. And hell is absence of God. If God is real, and I am completely wrong in everything that I'm talking about, my belief in Baphomet and everything like that, let's just hypothetically say I am completely wrong. There is a God, there is Satan, and that is just how it works. We are talking about an entity that committed global genocide with a flood, if that was real and if that actually happened, that killed everybody except for one guy and his fucking family. We're talking about a God that doesn't give a shit and lets children suffer, innocent children that have done nothing wrong, die, suffer, plague, disease, war, doesn't matter. But he loves you. He's a loving God. I disagree. If God is real, God doesn't give a shit. He doesn't fucking care. And this is a game to him. A game I'm not playing. So, if I'm wrong, and the Christians and the Catholics are right, then I am happy and proud to say I am going to hell. That's simple. Wholeheartedly. I don't think they understand half of the words that they use. I don't think that the biggest problem, one of the first things that I noticed, my first issues that I took with Christianity and Catholicism, was the blatant misrepresentation of words through historical usage. Christians and Catholics have taken words and changed their meanings completely. Completely. I got into a comment debate with someone. We are talking about, I can't remember like the beginning and how we got into it, but I told him that the word demon comes from the Greek daemon, which means guiding spirit. And what was hilarious to me is he comes back, he says, well, I asked a Greek person, and he says the daemon just means demon. A simple Google search will show you otherwise. I find it absolutely hilarious, the lack of effort that these people put into their shit. And that is one of the things that irritates me the most about these people that come after you and start saying, well, you're going to go to hell. You're going to burn in hell. You're going to burn in hell. Satan has your soul. Repent now. Take 30 minutes out of your fucking life and do a Google search on the history of these things, on the history of the words, on the comparisons between Christianity, Catholicism, and other world religions. One of the things that I absolutely love and adore about the left-hand path, and especially occultism, we don't have a fucking savior. We are our own savior. We are the only ones responsible for saving ourselves. If you crash and burn, it's your own fucking fault. There's no one else to blame. There's nobody coming through the fog to give you a hand to lift you up off of the ground. Pick yourself up and dust yourself off. It's empowering. People hate that idea. People hate that concept. They don't like the idea of needing to lift themselves up because they're too lazy sitting down on the couch, stuffing their face with Doritos and watching fucking Seinfeld. Pick yourself up. You have the power. You. Let's switch this over to live chat. There it is. I'm missing some messages here because it's not on live chat. Exactly. Evolution. Exactly. That's a good one. I like that, Black Wraith. I like that. We have power and ability. We do. The insanity of this is, yes, I am somebody, for as skeptical as I am the type of person that I will sit there and I will tell you that if you come to me and you say that you did some ritual and some demon came through some black fucking portal and grabbed you and pulled you through and you spent the night with fucking Belial, and I can tell that you full-heartedly believe it, I'm the type of person that's going to tell you that you need psychological assistance. I'm skeptical. I believe in this stuff wholeheartedly, but I'm also a skeptic. I will not give in to mass hysteria. That's how people die. Eldridge, thank you very much for becoming a member. You are now a demon. So when you allow hysteria to cloud your better judgment, people die. People make mistakes. Now, does that mean that I don't believe that a demon could open up a black portal and walk on through? No, it doesn't mean that I don't believe that. I do believe that that could potentially happen. Do I believe that it has? Probably not in a very long time. And I believe that that's because of our reduced numbers. The Christians, or more specifically, the Catholics, knew what they were doing. The Catholics came on the scene and knew that if they were going to remove paganism, polytheism, and magic and nature worship as a primary practice in the world, the first thing that they needed to do was to remove the earth worshippers. They needed to remove magic. Now, this is a conspiracy theory. There is nothing supporting this other than my own wonderful imagination. So there's your disclaimer. But through research and looking into things and looking at how people viewed magic before Catholicism and how people viewed magic after Catholicism, there's a huge difference. Prior to Catholicism, magic was believed to be something that you could truly manifest physically in the moment in front of you. The whole light as a feather, stiff as a board thing was actually possible, according to older texts about magic. Okay? After Catholicism, it became delusional. Now, what happened between the times of pre-Catholic rule and post-Catholic rule, or during Catholic rule, because they're still the primary religion in the world? Catholicism did the one thing that no other religion or faith has ever done. They went globally, not just in Rome or in Italy or in Europe, globally, in the world. Stole the culture, the imagery, the celebration days, renamed them, fit them inside of their story, brainwashed people to believe it. And for those that didn't believe it, that had their earth-based faiths, that had their magic that they practiced and believed in, whether it be herbalism or energy work, they came in armies full, shield and sword, and essentially said, convert or die. And I believe wholeheartedly that when our numbers began to dwindle, and I say our because we are a community, a minority community. We are occultists to some degree or another. We practice and follow the occult. We are a religious minority when we used to be the majority. A couple thousand years ago, but we used to be the majority. And so I believe wholeheartedly that the Catholics understood something that they don't want anyone else to understand, and that is, by reducing our numbers, they reduced our connection to the actual power that exists. Because the sheer numbers of people that were openly practicing dwindled to almost nothing, is broken. The Catholics knew what they were doing. It was premeditated. And they knew in order for Catholicism to grow in power, they needed to remove that magic was believable, which is why when we're talking about the 1500s, the 1600s, the 1700s, the 1800s, people were still afraid of magic because it wasn't that far back that they were still hearing stories of what people used to be able to do. So they understood that there was power there. They understood that there was a need to protect themselves from it because they could actually do things. And then slowly over time, as many things do, they became fairy tales. They became things that it's just a fairy tale. It's just the boogeyman. It's not real. There's no such thing as a witch. There's no such thing as ghosts. There's no such thing as a vampire. There's no such thing as a werewolf. None of these things are real. They're all in your mind and they're all imagination. And the Catholics, because of the Catholics, they put the occultists in a very precarious position. They broke our connection with that universal energy. They destroyed it. They succeeded. The books and grimoires and documents that they keep secret in the basement that they won't even let the press look at, I, with all my spirit and being, believe wholeheartedly that they found some grimoire, some text that told them what they needed to do to destroy magic. And it's coming back. A lot of people would love to say that it's still here, but unfortunately it's not. I do believe wholeheartedly that people used to be able to conjure flame from their hands, or a ball of energy, or be able to levitate, truly levitate, maybe even fly. I believe that that's a possibility. But the Catholics made sure that they broke that connection that we had, that very deep, powerful connection that we had with magic. And what magic is today is nothing what magic used to be. And I think one of the biggest things, and one of the reasons why the Catholic Church is making the moves that it's making, is because it knows that it needs more people. That's one of the reasons why the Pope is now allowing the LGBT community into church without persecution. They need the numbers. Numbers are dropping quick for them. So I'm a skeptic. And the reason I'm a skeptic is not because I don't believe in what can potentially happen. I'm a skeptic because I can feel that our connection to magic, that universal magic, is weak. And our ability to manifest at that level is limited to large groups. Being completely honest. Large coven groups. We can manifest personally in our mind. We can manifest and astral project. But we can't manifest the way that our ancestors used to manifest. One day, our children and our grandchildren will be able to do that. But also one of the things that needs to come back is generational magic. Now, I'm not telling you what to do with your kids. I'm not. But I believe in generational magic, and I am teaching my son the occult. Now, if he makes the decision not to stay in it, I'm not going to reprimand him for not staying in it, but he is being raised in a magical home. I've taught him, he's 9 years old, I've taught him how to perform ritual, I've taught him how to do spells, I've taught him how to write a spell. We live in a magical household. I believe in generational magic. And I believe that the connection that we have to the magic of the universe becomes stronger the more of our generations stay connected. I think so. I think so, Evie. So, everyone, we finished the Love and Hate chapter. This short one was a 2-page chapter. I do hope that you all found benefit in today's sermon, in today's conversation. Don't give up on magic just because we lost the connection to it. We need you, all of you, to build that connection. Make it stronger so we can come back to what we used to be. We need to come back to what we used to be. We need to. It's a necessity. Anyway, again, as always, hail Satan, hail Lilith, hail Lucifer, hail Paimon, hail Baphomet, and as always, hail thy fucking self. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and a satanically infernal week. Goodbye.